All right, we're in the digital tournament. The digital tournament. In my 77 account, it's actually qualifying day, so I guess I'm gonna do a walkthrough, scouting report, practice round, all at the same time. So that's what I'm gonna do. Let's check them out. Hole number one. The very first hole in one on a par four that I ever got was on this hole. And there are several ways that you can go at this hole, and I'm not convinced that there isn't if you're going on the black line and you get out, so from the tee box, trying to get out in the clear, out in this zone, so that your shot coming in, there's some trees right here, and this shot coming in from the side, it always seems like it moves just a little bit, but getting in this lane up here so that you can open it up to the cup. I think my buddy Dunner shoots a shot from down in here, and there's a rough bump that you can do coming at it. But there's several ways that you can come at it from this side. But from the tee box, you can come out here and you can draw a straight line to the cup. And there are big opportunities to get screwed up and in the drink and be OB, out of bounds. And if that happens, the next shot, you have to go for the same deal. So really pay attention to your shot, so that if you do make that mistake, you know what mistake you made, so you don't make that mistake again. And we've all been there, because I've been OB on this hole as well. And once you're committed, now you need to get the eagle to save the birdie. I was talking to Mike D right before I got started this video, and you can get your bounces in such a way that you got bounce number ones on the island, bounce number twos up in here. You get a bounce that's on this finger, and that finger will elevate you over to the other side. And what'll happen is you'll end up in the sand a lot. I set that up in the sand off to the side of that. And it seems like if you don't get lucky and hit the island, that the spot that it hits in the sand, you can pop out of the sand and roll forward. Now, if you've got an extra mile 9 and you put on all of the topspin, which is what it looks like you need to do, you'll end up in the sand in the back. And I haven't worked that number out, but it's got to be 1 or 2 less than max topspin. Otherwise, you will end up overshooting it. But I'm not too sure that bringing out a bigger ball, I think with a Power 3 ball, it just depends on where the red lines are at, but it may be better to bring out a bigger ball so that you have some distance from where you're setting up to the red line. Because ideally, you'd want to pick a spot that's 2 to 3 rings off of the front and be able to work it over so that you can work that number and give yourself a little bit of leeway to work out headwind. I'm going to practice today with a Titan, the king of balls. This tournament is sponsored by Titan. When you just need to get it done, bring out a Titan. And we're just going to go play. We'll go play it. Hole number 1. Da-da-da-da. If we can find an opponent. Pearl Jam. The Pearl Jam clan. I think Pearl Jam's from Seattle. That's not too far from my house. I was just in Seattle last weekend. I was kind of hoping my opponent was going to go to the other side so you could see what that shot looks like. The deal is it's a 100% pure layup shot if you're going to the left. So ideally, you want to start the conversation with quarterback, rock, whatever the most accurate club is in your bag, because you're trying to pinpoint a spot and you're trying to be in the same spot every time, and you can work that area out there and find the best angle. Very nice. Nice shot. Nice. Number 1 bag. max top spin. I think it's a little less. And it always looks like you're just going to hit it. 3, 4. I'm going to over pull it just a little. Isn't it perfect? Now let's see if that bounce is correct, or if I should have started off in the sand. And you can see how much farther forward it went. It completely cleared that. A little bit of luck right there. I think the deal is if you hit the sand right there in the front, it's going uphill. It's one of those areas that you can do a sand bump. I'm not a big fan of sand bumps. To me, that's like those are two things that should never be back to back in a sentence. Sand bump. Like, you want me to purposely go out there and hit the sand. Maybe if it was out in the middle of the fairway and I was using my putter so I could keep it really low to the ground and try and skip off of it. Let's see if we can get an eagle on hole number 1. I'll shoot these one hole at a time. I'll help Mike D out. Mike D's watching. And you did it perfect though. If I was going to hit it great, that's the side to hit it on. In the hole. Even from the rough or the sand over there, it's still a great shot to get in. And you just have to, if you look at a hole like that, to me, this is a prime example of the risk versus reward hole. The risk on the right is that you'll get caught up in this water, that you'll miss this. This is why you don't want to come down here, because this is one of those holes that when you've got any kind of forward moving wind, any kind of tailwind, that it carries forever. And so you really got to, and if I go back and watch that video to see where I had set it up with my first bounce, this is why my second bounce was so far off, because my first bounce was way far off. I didn't adjust out enough just because of the way that the wind was blowing. That really, our only risk is this water. But the reward is that, let's just say 50% of the time you were on the green side. That's 50% of the time. I mean, you've got to make those short ones. But if you're in the rough or the sand over here, those clubs are super accurate when they're up close. And I would rather take this as my second shot from the rough or the sand than the shot from over here. Although I think my buddy Dunner does take a shot from here and he does a rough bump. But anytime that you can go for the green and there's a 50% chance that you're going to get on in one, I'm going for that shit. You need to figure that out. All right, that was hole number 1 of the, well, it's hole number 1 of Milano, but it's hole number 1 of the digital tournament. Da-na-na-na. Thanks for watching.